Hey everyone, welcome back to episode 8 of Eyes on the Ball. It's been I think 9 days since my last episode, or yeah, 9 days. I think June 10th. I remember saying June 1st for some odd reason. Just I don't know. I just remember saying that for the last episode. But yeah, this is episode 8. Both finals game or two finals games have gone by. There's also been some news from the trade discussions. Some coach firings too. Been a lot to talk about. So yeah, let's get right into it. Game one of the finals, crazy match. Really, realistically, it was only crazy to the fourth quarter. I was out that day. I was not. I watched the second half, not the first half. So when I was box watching the first half, I was out. I couldn't, put fully pay attention to it, but I was box watching the first half at least. Um, One thing that was very much apparent, and even the second game too, is that OKC lead. If they take a lead on you, they don't have to keep on scoring, but they're gonna damn sure make sure you don't score. They're gonna keep that lead a lot, and it's gonna be hard to overtake it. But that's what the Pacers did in game one. That's how they won that game. If it was not for the constant efforts of Miles Turner, Obi Toppin, Neesmith, they played out of their minds in that fourth quarter. I mean, other than the fact that Hallie made that incredible fucking shot, which we will talk about as well. Like if it that kind of performance in game one at the end is a perfect embodiment of what the Pacers are, what their offense is. Like it's not just one guy; it's the entire team working together and being competent as a whole instead of individually. But Shea had like 38 points that first game. I feel like it was like didn't really play the best either. I would say like the numbers kind of show that he played okay or that he played good. But I don't think he honestly played the best. Or he missed some shots down the stretch that really hindered the game a lot. That would have closed the game out. Um, J Dub did not play the best. Shed did not play the best. I think he only had like 6 points, 6 boards, maybe like 2 blocks or 2 assists, something like that. But that's not what you want from Shed, especially your third option. And of course, again, J Dub didn't play the best either. Um, but yeah, they played bad game one. I think it was more so of a they and it happens every single time with them too with OKC where they have like that game one at home and it's kind of like a, as LeBron would say, like a feel out game kind of thing. So, but I think the problem is as well is like they always have such a big gap from their game ones to compared to other game ones. Because they just not well, like other than like the Nuggets going into the Timberwolves, because Nuggets they went to game seven, but against the Timberwolves was the only time where they really had to like play like shortly after finishing the series. They knocked us out of the park in four, the Grizzlies, and then the Nuggets and Clips went to game seven, so OKC had like a, I think like a little bit more than a week of rest, which didn't work out the best for them that for that game one at least. But they still won at OKC, and yeah, it's happening now too, where they had such a big rest compared to the Pacers. Not a huge rest, but they had more days for sure. And and I think it's just another situation where they keep on. They apply pressure at first, they play hard at first, but then they kind of are comfortable with the lead that they have, and then they just kind of like just they by the time they realize like the other team is kind of catching up, they kind of fall back, which is something that the OKC does not do often, especially in the regular season. With the regular season, I think it was the complete opposite. They just continue to apply pressure, um, and their pressure does not come from just like overwhelming offense. It always comes from just like a defense that like just swarms you and like it just completely just like overwhelms you and stops you from doing anything at all. It's just a hindering defense where it's hard to play against and to score against. But the Pacers, again, were one of the number one offenses, I think, especially in the I don't know if it was the postseason or definitely not the regular season. I think that the Cavs were number one in terms of offense, but I don't know if they kind of fell down a little bit after the All Star break, because I know after the All Star break they didn't necessarily play the best. Could have been because of injuries, so I'm not gonna fault them for that. But yeah, I think Pacers probably had the number one offense for a while after that All Star break or during the postseason. But yes, I mean it's a number one offense versus number one defense. This is like one of the ultimate tests of whether or not defense or offense matters in situation and for championships, and which one is valued more. If you had to ask me, I think defense for sure. So and I think that's why OKC will win. Um, Obviously, especially if this team defense turns into offense, they haven't had a lot of points off turnovers compared to the other like series, which was and it's crazy too because the first game the Pacers had like 20 plus turnovers, and OKC still didn't have a lot of turnovers or points off turnovers, which is like again so interesting because usually like 20% is a number that I heard. 20% of their points come from turnovers or like points off turnovers. Um, I know that's the regular season stat, or if that includes playoffs as well. But for for it to be the finals, and you have this team that again they barely turn the ball over in the first place, but the fact that they're able to get back on defense and not allow OKC to score off those turnovers that they generated in the first game, yeah, I guess it's a good testament to how locked in defensively that the Pacers are. So yeah, that's super super cool to see with the Pacers. But it makes me think about I had like a lot to say about Game One because like again like when I watch the games I have like a lot more to think about and obviously and like analyze stuff like that. But it's been like I think 4 days or 5 days since that. Um, so I'm not kind of have Game Two in my head, kind of not really, but yeah. So Game One now memories are coming back to me. But with Game One it was like um oh yeah, in the fourth it was like for them to lose that game was kind of like it really was self inflicted by OKC, because like and like realistically, I mean everything went their way. Like in the fourth, like they got the foul calls that they wanted. Um, Siakam missed free throws. Um, there was something else. There was a bunch of things that went OKC's way. It was just the fact that they could not score. That's all it was. Like they again. Oh, they had. It was a situation where um fuck, damn it. Um, Somebody on the Pacers scored. It was either an N one or like a two or some shit. And then OKC kind of responded back with a three. And this is like with like 2 minutes left. So it was like again, everybody who's watching is like, no way the Pacers are gonna come back because the lead was sizable. Like for the Pacers, no lead is like too crazy kind of thing. Honestly, going into the fourth quarter, I was like, if they're able to take this lead, cut it down to like 10, 12, because the lead was like 15 for like the entirety of the game, really. But, after seeing how the Pacers were playing in the third quarter and how effective they were in the third quarter, I was kind of like, if, if this lead cuts down to like, a short double digits, or like less than double digits, I mean, this could be Pacers, you know, making magic happen, magic. But anyways, yeah, they in the end, I feel like everything went well for OKC that could have gone their way. Like it's literally just scoring, and that's ultimately why they lost. They just could not score. I think the last bucket that they made in that game was like a minute and 37 or 27 seconds in, and every other bucket after that was from the Pacers. Um, I mean, yeah, SGA. What was it? Okay, so Siakam. I think I said Siakam last time. I don't know why I'm pronouncing it like that. I have no idea. I'm pretty sure Siakam. Siakam. But Siakam like chased the ball. This is like 20 seconds left or something like that. Chased the ball out of bounds. Um, and Rick Carlisle challenged it because he kind of thought that it was a foul. And I mean, I think Casey Wallace was the person who was like behind Siakam before he fell, and I think like he extended his arm out and like might have shoved them a little bit, but I don't think it was a foul anyways. Um, it wasn't overturned regardless. The foul called was continued or whatever, and so they had another chance. And again, in that situation again, but I think both what I thought was gonna happen was that they were gonna have the 20 seconds again or something like that. So I thought it was clips. Honestly, I thought it was over. It was gonna turn into like a free throw, kind of like hope one of the other team win or misses, or we somehow get an offensive rebound and put it back up and get the lead kind of situation. But I think they only gave him 10 seconds left of game for the shot clock. OKC they only gave OKC like 10 seconds of shot clock time, and so they gave the ball to SGA, which makes sense because nobody else could score at that time in that game. I think he goes for like a pull up midi or some sort of midi like on the left side, uh, like elbow, and misses it, and it's like 10 seconds left. I think it's like 8 seconds left, something like that, and they get the rebound. The Pacers get the rebound. They're down by one, and I see Halliburton walking up from half court. And once I saw that shit, I was like, no fucking way he makes magic happen again. And so when they pass him the ball, I see him running, and the Case and Wallace is on him. I'm like, okay, this is Kaysen. Like, no way. Like, this is like this is like OKC's like probably like third, fourth best defender. Like, no way. You know what I mean? Or like probably the best point of attack defender that they have, other than like Dort or whatever. But I'm like, nah, no way. Hallie hits this shit. He goes up for the I, um, Caitlin Cooper, Twitter user, journalist, I suppose as well, basketball lover. She had this like crazy stat or whatever that showed that Hallie loves to go for the pull up with the dominant hand instead of the other hand. I think he shoots. She said it was like 2 or 2 or 4 for 7 or something like that. Like a respectable number, but it's like a really low amount, like of attempts. But then he has like 22 for like 42 or something from his right hand, like when he goes up for the pull up dribble from his right hand. In terms of like efficient, like how efficient he is, and it's such a weird thing because right hand, dominant hand. Usually you go if you're right handed, you go for a pull up, you bring it up with your left hand. You put it down, you put it up with your right, you shoot, you flick, whatever. But he likes to do like I guess it's like he just like brings it up like this or something. I have no fucking clue how the mechanics work, but I mean for him it works, and he splits that bitch. He fucking splits that shit with like what 2 seconds left or something like that, and it was over. OKC had no time to get a shot off, and it really was just like it. Honestly, the now that I look back at it, it really was just like the Aaron Gordon shot, in game Was it game one? I'm assuming. I think it was game one, right? Where the Nuggets beat him. Pretty sure it was game one. Yeah, I think it was game one. You know, Shep misses both free throws. Russ gets the rebound. Um, just fucking storms down the court, and instead of going for a layup, he passes it to Aaron Gordon, who's open on the wing, and splashes that bitch. That's how they win. But yeah, that was a crazy game winner. I mean, when it happened, when I saw him go up for the shot, like point five for like point 0.5 seconds in my mind, I was like, this would be crazy if this goes in. And when it hit the net, and the net kind of like splishes and like falls back, I was like, I laughed because that was fucking incredible. Like that's like insane that this player who people are like continuously arguing about, like, oh, is this guy even a superstar? Is this guy even an all-star? I mean, he's an all-star, obviously, but it's like this can is this guy this face of the league guy, like the potential to be face of the league, like this guy's hitting all of these fucking crazy shots against good teams to win playoff series. Like, what the fuck? But like, no, like this guy is like he's him. He's him. He's just continuously hitting these shots. He's 4 for 4 in these shots. Like, what the fuck? It's insane. It's insane. I mean, it just goes to show how great of a player he is in the clutch. Water. But yeah, Pacers won game one, and again, there was a lot. They had a lot of turnovers that game one. They didn't shoot the best for the first half. I think yeah, they didn't shoot the best the first half. Again, a lot of turnovers, etc., etc. But yeah, Pacers won game one. Now game two, I think it was fairly obvious. I said it before. I think I said it the same night that Pacers won. Well, I tweeted about it. That it was very, 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 very possible that they respond the same exact way that they always do in the game two after being, blown out game one or whatever, or losing game one, which is to blow the team out by fucking 50 points. And I mean, that's essentially what happened. But I don't know what this is. Like, I don't know if you can definitely see it too. Like, I see it on my OBS. Like, this fucking red thing, like, like I'm about to get shot at, dude. Like, there's somebody holding a fucking sniper, like, right at my fucking noggin. Jeez, dude. But anyways, yeah. So they responded how I expected them to respond in game two. Let me see the stats. Everybody played well on the OKC. Like, it wasn't a 50-40-90 game. It was as close as possible to a 50-40-90 game from a team perspective, which is, again, like I said before, if there's a team who can do it, it's OKC. Is it sustainable? I mean, they did it again. This either their third time doing it. Actually, they might have done it in the Timberwolves series. I'm not entirely sure. I didn't look up the team stats for that series. But anyways, yeah, they shot amazing today, or not today. It was Sunday. Yeah, Sunday night. But anyways, so right now in terms of per game stats, Shea with 36, 22 games, whatever. But I mean, I don't see that dropping below, like, I'd be surprised if it drops below 30. Actually, like even no matter how many games this series goes, like he's gonna be averaging 32 points, like at least. Makes no way he doesn't, right? But anyways, 36 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. He's averaging 3.5 steals, basically 4. But that's fucking crazy, man. I mean, Like in game one, I feel like he wasn't locked in defensively like that, and um again like I don't want to be. I mean, I'm a hater at heart, to be honest. I hate to say it, but I mean, I do. Like, y'all have not seen me, yell yet or be angry. I might be angry a little bit, but after some more information gets talked about. But with Shea, it's like with Shea individually in terms of defense, I don't necessarily think he's the best defender. You know, people like to throw around um two-way player, and they mention Shea, and I feel like it kind of like loses the definition of a two-way player, because in reality a two-way player is somebody who actually is very much impactful on both sides of the floor. I don't think we should be calling players who are okay defensively and or at least non-targetable defensively and elite off offensively two-way players, because like as a two-way player, like for example, like I'm just like I I'm not one to compare on the pod yet, right? But anyways, as a two-way player, like are you choosing Giannis as a two-way player over SGA? Like yes, because we know Giannis is a great fucking defender. You know what I mean? So, but that basically all that to say that I think SGA isn't the best defender on the team, or even like a top six defender on the team, probably maybe top five. So like his team, I think one thing is again he's really smart with his positioning. He has long ass arms, so when he plays the passing lanes, like if you don't fucking see him, like it's cookies for you realistically, because again like he's insulated around such great defenders, where it's even though he may not be the best defensively, but he isn't like a pigeon, you're not gonna target him on defense, because again like he's not a targetable defender. Again he's not gonna apply a lot of pressure on you defensively, be great on you defensively. But again he's smart with his body. He has a great frame for him to be hard, or for him to be able to guard different positions as well. But yeah, I think him being insulated around this such great defenders, like defenders who truly like honestly like everybody on OKC, like a good like almost what is 14 players, or yeah like 14 players. Out of the 14 players, I feel like realistically like J Dub, Caruso, Shet, Dort, Wallace. Yeah, 5 out of the 14 players can all make like all defensive teams. You know, and these are 5 guys who are getting heavy minutes. Even iHeart, like as a rim protector, isn't a bad player, isn't a bad defender too. But basically, again, like all I'm trying to say is him being around such a great defense allows for him to be so sneaky and get into those passing lanes, and take advantage of his long wingspan to get those steals. But the fact that he is averaging almost 4 steals a game is fucking nutty. Again, it's only 2 games so far, but regardless, like that's insane, right? Um, J Dub had 19 points Sunday, which is really good because he didn't have. I mean, he played pretty bad the game before. I don't know how many points exactly, but it was pretty bad. Yeah, he had 14 points, 5 assists, 5 rebounds. Um, wasn't too efficient, but it's fine. Like again, it's the playoffs. I feel like efficiency just doesn't matter in the playoffs. Like realistically, it really doesn't. Um, Shet had a way better game. 15 points, um, 1 assist, 6 rebounds, 1 block. He was pretty efficient, and he probably shot the best from three. No, I lied. Yeah, I lied like shit. Out of the starters, he shot the best from three. But and three, three has been their weak spot. But this game again, like this is one of those games where it shows that if their bench does come prepared, right, then they're like unbeatable. Like they have no flaws if their bench is able to shoot when the starters aren't. Because realistically, the starters aren't really great shooters. Shea was 1 for 4, which is like again fine. Like you could take. He still scored 34, so it doesn't matter regardless. On great efficiency too. But Jada was 1 for 5. Like but I think the real. Well, before I move on, I think I do want to gas Shea a little bit more, or gas Shea, because I feel like again, as much as I hate him, that guy's a fucking demon. He's a demon. He's unguardable. He's fucking unguardable. I mean, I think it's just watching him play. Like I'm not really a huge, like I'm not a mid range kind of like enthusiast, right? Or at least I would say like I never one was, or was one was what the fuck was one. But seeing this guy just like get to his spot every single possession and knock down the midi is just fucking incredible. I mean, even when he get like he starts to get into his bag, tween, pound step, crossover, pull up midi, like fuck off, man. Like he's unstoppable. Like I think this season probably the best scorer in the league, right? Like top two minimum. Like it's either him or Giannis, but I think it's still him. I mean, like realistically, like in terms of if we're being like black and white, like 3 point versus like 2 points, like I feel like they both been, Shea I think has shot 37% from three in the regular season, but I still feel like, but and I don't say numbers are lying for sure. Obviously not. Like he definitely has improved his 3 point shot, but it's not a shot that he's not gonna take that shot often. But for me to be like, oh, like that's in his bag, or that's gonna be something like where it makes defenders harder um defend him because like he has it in his bag or whatever. Like no, like he doesn't have it. Like not that he doesn't have it, but like it's not a consistent weapon where people are gonna look at and be like, oh, like like I'm gonna force you to shoot this three. I mean that's the game plan that most defenders or most coaches have on Shea. Like they want to force him to shoot threes because again, like he's not the best 3 point shooter. I apologize. I think I was, and that was loud too. Sheesh, my fault. Um, but yeah, like the guy's just fucking incredible. Um, One of the best guard seasons that we've seen in history. Um, Up there with Kobe, Jordan, and I mean like I can hate as much as I want, but he's him. He's him. Like he's in terms of like scoring, like he's just in a realm of his own. And to see a guard do it is so cool too, because in the league, I don't want to say it's mainly just wings and forwards and stuff like that, but like seeing a guard, you know, with a mid range shot and being able to do this just so consistently all the time, it's a fucking it's amazing. It's fucking awesome. Like he's him. He's him. Um, but yeah, we're talking about what I think won them the game, and I think it's very obvious why they won the game. Their bench, Caruso, and again, I think I said it last episode too. Caruso easily top three most impactful players for OKC. I mean, they've been fucking every single game where they need him, he shows up. I don't think I've ever seen a game from Caruso in this playoffs where he's performed bad. Like, he's not a target on defense. Obviously not. You know, he's probably, again, one of the better interior perimeter defenders and defender in general for OKC. And again, like, he's been fucking shooting the lights out. This is Alex Caruso we're talking about. He was fucking terrible in the regular season from three. And now he's like fucking, like, he's been one of their best 3-point shooters the entire playoff series. And it's honestly, I mean, if we're talking about playoff performers, playoff risers, this guy from three has fucking exploded. Fucking exploded. I mean, he again, when it comes to OKC, their biggest flaw is 3-point shooting. He does not fall under that category when it comes to OKC players. He has continuously showed that he's going to be great from the three. He's just a fucking dog too. You know, he had 20 points, 20 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist. You know, and again, his impact isn't something that you see on box score. It's the defense that he applies, the pressure that he applies, how physical he is. But regardless, I mean, he continues to show why he's one of the more impactful players on that team. And then the other guy, I like to call him Shea Jr. Others like to call him the man who saved basketball. Mr. Aaron Wiggins was shot 5 for 8 from 3 and had 18 points. 4 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal. And it's so crazy for me too, because I feel like coming into the playoffs, if there was one guy from the bench who I didn't think would be too effective, it were 2 guys actually. It was him and Joe. I actually thought that Joe was gonna get more minutes or be at least a little bit more impactful out of the two because of his 3-point shooting ability. Because, you know, like, I think numbers may not show it, but because I think he averages probably averages 2 or 3, maybe 4 threes in the regular season, like 3-point attempts. But he was definitely one of their best shooters in the regular season. Like, he was a fucking sniper, and he probably start on other teams. And so I thought for the playoffs, again, for like a team that does not shoot that well from 3, I thought he would honestly see some more minutes, like in terms of like just being able to space the floor out. Obviously, Shea doesn't fucking need it because the guy scores through fucking everything regardless, right? But I thought he was going to get some more minutes or at least be a little bit more impactful. But it's the other way around. Aaron Wiggins is, in the minutes that he has played, like, he's been a lot more impactful. And this is one of those games where it's like, it definitely puts him over the top against the Joe too. I mean, every single 3 that they needed, like, he banged that bitch. And they shot incredibly well from 3 this game, or at least a lot better than other games. And I mean, Aaron Wiggins was one of those, was the main reason why, other than Caruso, of course, too. But he played incredible. Played very rich minutes that OKC definitely, again, if not for his performance, you know, I don't want to say they lose the game for sure, because they probably don't anyways, but it definitely helped them keep the lead and definitely helped them stay above the Pacers. But yeah, honestly, stats for the Pacers, I mean, they all had like every player who played more than 20 minutes had more than 12 points. No, more than 10 points. Nemhard only had 11 points. But so that was cool. You know, you look at the box score, and it's like, oh, you know, this is the usual Pacers offense. You know, everybody scores, whatever. But I feel like a lot of it was kind of like Julius Randle in the last series in that one game where he just scored a bunch. Excuse me, where he just scored a bunch and it didn't fucking matter. You know, Halliburton had that same situation where he went like on a little tear in the fourth quarter. Let me see. He had like yeah, he had 12 points in the fourth quarter. Where was that when we needed you? Like, why are you busting ass in the fourth quarter and not the first quarter or the second quarter? Or even the fucking third quarter. Like he just decided to drop 12 in the fourth quarter when it really didn't matter anymore. Um, but yeah, I mean, like realistically, nothing really too special from the Pacers in that game. But what I will say was, although OKC blew them out, I don't think it usually when they win, that when they beat them in a game two, their game two games, they tend to always like rock the other team. It didn't feel that way with the Pacers this game. I felt like it was a lot more like, the game, they won their game that they were supposed to win at home. You know, they beat them convincingly, right? But it wasn't like, oh, this series is definitely gonna be over. Like, no, not at all. Like, if anything, I think it was like, obviously, I think there's definitely a lot of more anxiety going to game three because now OKC has the momentum, and they can continue to play the way that they have been playing against every other team, not named the Nuggets, just decimate them completely. But at the same time, it's like it could be the opposite. Pacers win one. If Pacers win game three, you know it gets to look it looks a little murky for OKC. Um, I'd be kind of I would be surprised if they don't come back to OKC and the series isn't like 2-2. Like if it's like 3-1 at all, like any side, like I'd be surprised as fuck. Um, but yeah, game two they won a lot. They did what they needed to do was to shoot well from three. That's why they won that game because I think in game one a lot of it was like kind of daring OKC to shoot, and again they didn't shoot that well from three that game, but they made their shots this time. They made the Pacers defense pay for not being close to the perimeter. Um, and yeah, just they blasted them. They play again tomorrow. Hopefully we can get this episode up. Hopefully like before the game starts, maybe during. Uh, yeah. But anyways, more information. So Thibs was fired. I think it surprised me when the notification when I got the Shams bomb, the Shams bomb. When I got the Shams bomb, whatever. Because I specifically remember seeing a report that said that his job was safe after the Knicks lost to the Pacers. Like I specifically remember seeing a report that said Thibs's job is secure and safe. So to see the notification that he was going to be fired was fucking hilarious. I mean my jaw dropped seeing it, but it was like, what the fuck? Like who lied? Like you motherfuckers just be lying. He's just be lying like all the time. So I was just surprised to see notification because it was like what? But yeah, so that happened. I was surprised as well because it's like to see it actually happen was surprising. Because again, ever since Thibs joined the Knicks and was a head coach, it was like, you know, a winning record, a winning playoff record. Um, but I think it's kind of like a Atkinson situation. Is it? Not really, actually. I think it's just I don't think Thibs was a person who was gonna get them the ring. if they are to get a ring. And I think a lot of it was because, like, again, you cannot actually win games with your starters playing 48 minutes just every single game, you know? Like, I think I saw a tweet or something with like Mikal Bridges was like complaining about Thibs or something like that. And I mean, he has never missed a game. He played all 82 games. So it's not like he doesn't like to play or tries to stay healthy or wants to be on the court all the time. But like the fact that, Bridges of all people is complaining about it is like, I feel like, it goes to show like that these players don't want to be on the court, like tired, like barely being able to play um all the time. Like, you have to put your bench out there. You have to get your starters room to breathe. You have to believe in your bench. And I think against the Pacers too, it was like, this is a fast ass fucking team. Like, nigga, I need rest. Is what I'm assuming is going through Jalen Brunson's mind. Like, they need rest. Like, they don't got what it's, and it's not that they don't got what it takes, but more so like this team is jumping up and down in fucking milliseconds. Like, I need a breather. Like please, like I'd rather, like give me like a minute or two, or like 4 or 5 minutes of rest time real quick. Like, let me rest up. That's what I'm assuming is going on in the mind of these players. But again, if they're just like, no, like, go out there, dickhead. Like, I need you to fucking play. I don't trust these guys off the bench. So go play. But, so yeah, that was crazy. I think from a social media perspective, I kind of, I a lot of Knicks fans were kind of like excited about it because it was like they knew that, like, they knew that he wasn't going to be the coach to get them, to pull them to the dub, um, or the ring. But yeah, it's so surprising seeing coaches just being fired left and right. This season, um, I feel like the past few seasons, like when a coach is fired, like it was like big news. But now it's just like, who's next? Like whatever. They want they want Jason Kidd, which is interesting. I feel like it makes sense, and it would be cool. But it's like, I think it would be interesting because I know Jason Kidd did not like the Luka trade. Obviously, like he kind of spoke about it. Tried to be as professional as possible. But I think they said that he did not like the trade. Like he, whatever. Um. So like, would he leave the Mavs organization? Probably, I could see it happening. But at the same time, I don't. Cause I'd be surprised. Like the Knicks could hire. I don't know. Malone would be nice. I think Malone would be cool with them. That'd be like a pretty good coach. And I feel like Malone kind of like fits. Malone would definitely fit that like grittiness of like New York too. I feel like, like that kind of like that bossy kind of like grimy, like not rebellious, but like just kind of like upbeat kind of personality. That'd be kind of cool. But yeah, Thibs just fired. I wonder if somebody else will pick him up. Probably not, to be honest. Probably not, which is crazy. But yeah, lost his job. Um, Injuries. Shaquille O'Neal. No! No! We're not seeing him until like 6 to 8 months. Come on, like what did we do? What did we do to the basketball gods to have this karma? You know, you already had a full fucking season of shitty injuries from every player, where Ja decided, just get his shoulder, get surgery on his shoulder that he needed, and then Gigi Jackson, who was the rookie that was very fucking promising, that was dropping 20 bombs, and 40 bombs on everybody, including LeBron James, gets fucking injured during the offseason. And then while he's injured, we move into this offense that takes John Morant out of the fucking helm of the ball, even though he's very obviously shouldn't be the fucking player with the ball in his hand. He's a fucking great playmaker and the superstar player of our team. And oh my god, we're doing so good against ass teams, like holy shit. And then we're shitty against good teams, and we continue to use this offensive scheme while battling injuries from Ja, because Ja just is not respected by officials in the league, unfortunately. Whether they just don't care about whether or not he gets injured because he does it to himself or whatever. So it's like, and now we have an Edie injury. Like, dude, like what the fuck is this card? Like, that is so unlucky, especially because Edie was like the player who we were kind of like banking on to be like our impact player. Like, we wanted him to be the player that who was gonna. And again, like if you watch some of the games too, once Ishalo got injured, it was like it was very apparent that Edie was gonna be a double monster coming next season too, and he was gonna be that player who was like, when things get tough, pass it to him. He's gonna dunk that bitch. He's gonna get those two easy points no matter what, because he's too like unfuckable with. Like, he's too fucking big, right? But fucking injuries, it's unfair. It fucking sucks, honestly. Like, it really does suck. It fucking stinks. And now I'll speak about it as well too after, but and now there's a lot of trade talks. Or no, Darius Garland injured, toe injury. And he's gonna get surgery. He played through his toe, like being fucked up, which is like, he's a fucking hero. That if he's a soldier for that shit. And I think there's another player who also got surgery. I forgot who it was. Well, yeah, Tatum, of course, but that happened like during the playoffs. But I don't know who else. I feel like there's another player who was getting surgery as well. But I could be wrong. I don't know. I forgot. But anyways, after that, surgeries and injuries, just trade talks. Now, I'm not gonna get into it too much, but the trade talks rumors are it's looking like it's gonna be a crazy off season, which makes a lot of sense, because before, or like, I guess like post All-Star break, it was a lot of teams talking about like who they wanted before the trade deadline ended and stuff like that, or after it ended too, when like the postseason was about to start. A lot of teams talking about a lot of fan bases of teams are talking about who a player that they would want that would fit really well. And so, um, again, for us, the Grizzlies, like, we needed a wing defender. Like, we need a point of attack defender who is athletic, and they're not like, they're pretty hard to come by, but we also like it doesn't, they don't have to be athletic, but at least somebody who fits the bill, somebody who can guard the best player on the other team, so that Jaren doesn't have to be the pulled back into playing perimeter defense. Like, he could just be the floater that he is. Then we have Edie as our anchor, and then we have Ja, who's a pretty, who again, biased or non-biased, I don't really care, but he's been a pretty good defender, especially a guard in terms of guarding other guards. I think he's been really good this season. Then Bane, who's like as a defender, but like, if we solidify, our third, the wing, with a great defender who can again defend the best player on the other team, and again, it doesn't have to be fucking amazingly well, but somebody's gonna at least hinder them a little bit. That's all we need, right? But then that's what we need. And then again, Rob, who's a Lakers fan, was also talking about the same thing, where they wanted a guy who can a wing defender who could play, who's athletic, or an athletic big, which is somebody that we also wanted, because We need we need having Ja Morant, right? When you have a playmaker who's as great as Ja, especially a guy who's very creative with his passes, who's a fucking speedster and is a slasher and can easily make his shot attempts turn into playmaking passes or things like that. Like if you have a rim runner or at least somebody who's going to be in a cutting position or be in a very athletic big, it makes it a lot easier for him to be able to, turn his shot attempts into passing attempts. And we just needed somebody who could finish the lobs. We had Brandon Clark, but then again, he got injured unfucking fortunately, because of course again, injuries love us. But again, like we have somebody, if we have somebody like that, or at least somebody a little bit taller, somebody who's a little bit more athletic, whatever. Again, I love Brandon Clark. That's all. I don't mean any harm by saying anything like that. But yeah, like we needed something like that too. Again, Rob talking about the same thing. The Lakers, that they needed a big who can play defense, who can be a lob threat with Luka. Now that they had Luka, so it was like okay, if a small market like us, who I'm kind of playoff contention, whatever, wants this thing, and a huge market like the Lakers wants the same thing. While we already knew at that time that Kevin Durant was probably going to be gone with the Suns, or at least when the season ended. We know that the Giannis situation, especially when the postseason started, and we saw what happened with Dame, where it was like, or even before the postseason, because Dame came back um from the injury that he already had, and so like we kind of thought that Giannis was gonna leave because they weren't gonna have a good postseason because Dame was out. The whole thing was have Giannis and Dame be that duo that's fucking unstoppable on the offensive side. But then Dame going out, it's like, fuck, like is Giannis gonna stay? Because like we can't. This was a year for him to stay and like show us in for the FO to the front office to show them and to show the Bucks or not show the Bucks but show Giannis that they were serious about winning stuff. But then that happened and it's like, you know, and then but the Rockets as well, how they need a superstar who is or a star who is going to put the ball in the fucking hoop for them. So I think all of that in um, culmination or culminated into the I think very obvious kind of future or foretelling that the off season was gonna be crazy, which I'm very much excited for. It's kind of like seeing notifications of like seeing those notifications of players getting or teams getting players and seeing how they're gonna work out like schematically or at least on paper before they actually play. Like that's dope as fuck. You know what I mean? But it's very very fun to think about and fantasize about. But but yeah, I think it was obvious. I think to at least to me where I thought it was gonna happen. I think other people probably had the same idea too. But now that Shams is saying it, Brian Windhorst is saying it, and other like NBA media analysts are saying it too. I think it is going to be something crazy, for sure. I feel like the last off season that I witnessed that was crazy was like the off season, or at least in terms of like so many people, so many players just moving around, was the off season where we signed Steven Adams or we traded for Steven Adams, which I think was like 2020. I think it was 21-22 was the last one where I remember being kind of crazy. I don't remember another off season being crazy like that, but I could be wrong. Um, and I don't remember if it was even that crazy. I just remember it being crazy because it was so many players who were getting traded at that time. Um, but yeah, so that's gonna be interesting. I'm kind of excited. I think Brian Windhorst was saying that he was definitely gonna be out, like that Kevin Durant was definitely gonna be off the Suns by by the draft by draft day, which is crazy as fuck. But I mean, yeah, they're saying that he might go to the Spurs, and if he goes to the fucking Spurs, I'm gonna be fucking irritated because now not only do you have to worry about OKC, like it's like for sure. I mean, every single team is gonna improve like crazy next year. Like I don't even think that. I think even the Jazz want to like go ahead and like try to trade, are open to trade. They're definitely open to trade talks now for Kessler and marketing, but it's because like they want to be they want to be in either rebuild mode, or they want to surround their young talent with guys that like to try to hoop now. So yeah, I mean even the Jazz are gonna be better. The Blazers are gonna be better for fucking sure. Um, the Spurs are gonna be better, even if they don't have even if they don't get KD, because they're gonna have Stephon Castle who run Rookie of the Year. They're gonna have De'Aaron Fox who's gonna be fucking insane with Wemby. Um, they still have like a pretty decent bench as well. So it's like, and Wemby might be a fucking top 5 MVP candidate next year. But anyways, like fuck, like dude, like we have to worry about the fucking Spurs because they're in our division, and the Mavericks, dog. Like, come the fuck on. Can I get a fucking break? Like the Mavs still have AD. They have Derek Lively. They're gonna get Cooper fucking Flag. They have Kyrie. They still have PJ Washington. Like fuck. Damn. Can I get a fucking break? So, and honestly, man, I have no idea what we're gonna do. Like I'm scared for my team. I mean, cause like realistically, I mean, there's so many other teams who could probably do a lot more or give a lot more for certain players that are gonna be on the market. I mean, like Kessler would be cool to kind of like substitute for Edie, but then at the same time, it's like now we have when Edie comes back, if he's gonna be like as great as like the player that we want him to be. Now we have two slow starting fives, or not starting fives, but centers who like like you don't really want two of them. Like one is enough. You kind of want variation with your bench players. You know what I mean? Like unless they're like fucking gods, they're both demigods coming up. Like it's one demigod starting and another demigod off the fucking bench or some shit. But yeah, I mean, fuck, I'm terrified for the all season. I just hope. I hope we're first of all. I hope we are able to improve, and second of all, I hope if there's one thing like it has nothing to do with trade talks or whatever, but if there's one thing I'm hoping for, man, I'm just hoping John Morant stays healthy. I'm just hoping John Morant stays healthy, man. I need him. I miss watching him play. I miss Ja hoops, you know. But enough of me venting. Um, is there anything else to talk about? I don't think there is anything else to talk about. I try to the sport, but man, I had a fucking calc exam on Monday. Reviewed all fucking like it's a summer class. So I was like very like accelerated. It's like 8 weeks, calc 2. Um, so basically I studied for basically like a week. I would say like maybe like 4 or 5 days straight. Like there were like days where I was like not fully locked in, but I like kind of just reviewing, and then other days where I was like like fucking like 3 4 hours straight of studying. Like I would say I have like a pretty I have a controllable and an understandable studying regime. Fuck regime, regime. Um, like one that I find comfortable and stuff like that. That helps, right? But I was studying the exam review that she gave us, and that shit looked nothing like it was in the fucking exam. And I feel like professors who do that like really should they should be fired, to be honest. Like wow, not fired, you know what I mean? But it's like it's just a bait and switch thing where it's like, obviously like you still should anyways, you still should study the review because it's a review at the end of the day. Like it's if even if the questions aren't on the exam or similar to questions on the exam, like it's it's practice problems that you need, right? So like that's fine, but fuck, man, it's like again like there's tiers of questions when it comes to like math. I would say, right? There's very basic ones that teach you the simplicities and how whatever the fucking concept is works. There's the middle ones where it's like it's not too hard, it's not too easy. It's maybe not too tedious, or might be it's either like really tedious but kind of simple to do in a way, or it's like a little bit complex but not too tedious. And there's hard ones where it's like really fucking difficult. It's gonna be both tedious and hard, right? So that's like my pyramid or hierarchy of math questions, right? This motherfucker had tier 3 questions on every single fucking exam. I mean, on every single question. Like, every single question was a tier 3 type of problem. Like, this is a fucking exam. And mind you, the review was like tier 2. Like, they were like maybe one. There was like one tier 3 on the exam. Like, why would do that on the exam? You're gonna give us straight, like, just hard ass tier 3 questions? Like, fuck. um, but yeah, that's it for episode 8 of Eyes on the Ball. Hopefully we get this uploaded pretty fast, and see you guys on the next one. Peace.